Okay, we're going to go over dismounting and mounting a tire on a Hunter Auto 34S. This will give you a quick rundown on how to use this tire changer. So a couple little quick tools on it that I'll show you. Of course, you have the tire lift, which you just press down and it will lift the tire up. When you go to mount the tire to save your back a little bit, you have the rotation, which rotates the tire when it's mounted. So of course, if you press down, it rotates in a clockwise position. If you put your foot underneath and lift up, it rotates counterclockwise. The last one is for your air pressure when you're airing the tire up. If you press it a small amount, it'll put air out of the nozzle. Also, this has a built-in bead seater, so for the ones that are a little more difficult to seat, then what you'll do is you'll hook this up to the valve core, put this right on the rim lip, and I'll show you all that at the end. And then when you press it fully, it blows out a large amount of air. Kind of noisy too. So all right, now we have, let me turn this light off for a second. Okay, so then I'll show you your controls. We've got the tool head control, which is this arm right here, and also this, which helps in the mounting and dismounting of tires. So I'll go ahead and take this out, undo the bungee so it can move out freely if we need it. And of course, if you want to go up and down with it, there's the lever on that. Okay, then we have the tool head, which again moves both of these. So you can see it moves the tool head and our plunger. And put that back up. Okay, the other tool we have on the side, which is the diameter control, which we set up for the rim. So then we have the upper roller, this is the upper roller. So we go down, and the lower roller, which is right here, which of course we go up for it and down for it. We have a mirror that we use to see underneath the tire. I put a drop light under there so I can see better underneath the tire. We've got couple things just on the side of the tool that we're ready to need. Wheel weight pliers, so if we need to remove wheel weights. We got a valve core tool. We usually have extra valve cores. We also have a tool that assists in mounting the tire and holding it as you rotate it, so we'll go over that as well. So the first thing you want to do is come to your tire and go ahead and remove the valve core to let the air out of the tire. You can't dismount the tire with air in it. So you're going to go ahead and remove the valve core. I've already taken the valve core out of this and let the air out of the tire, but you would take the valve core out, set your valve core right there, and hold it in place and put it in a safe place in case you're reusing it. If you're putting new valve cores in, of course you would put these in when you put the new tire on. So now I'm going to go ahead and use the lift, push down on it. It's going to bring the tire up, and I'm going to get it on this locating pin right here. So I'll just roll it over and position it where my locating pin is, and I'll just simply come down. Once I get my notice it's not quite in the center, so I'm going to go ahead and move it over to the center. So now I can put my centering tool in. Go ahead and rotate that to where it goes down, turn it clockwise, lift up, make sure it's in place, okay, and then go ahead and spin it down. Or you can grab the two little red tabs like this, lock it down. So okay, so at this point we're going to be working on the face of the rim. So we need to make sure that if we have any wheel weights installed on the rim, you would go ahead and remove the wheel weights at this time. Again, make sure you remove the wheel weights before you start this process, because the tool can drag the weight and scratch the rim. Of course, this is an old steel wheel, but again, if it was a chrome wheel, you wouldn't want to damage the face of the wheel. So the first thing I'm going to do is go ahead, get my upper roller, try and get my camera set up right. Go ahead and get my upper roller closer to the wheel, so about right there, and then bring it in and so I can get my diameter set up. So I want this to be, so again, roller down, upper roller down. I want to get it to where it's right close to the edge. So as you can see, I've got about 1/4 of an inch clearance, which is fine. So now I'm going to go ahead and take the upper roll, and we're going to break the top bead first. So all you got to do is just gently put pressure on the tire then you're going to go ahead and lift this arm up. This one is 8 off. Most of the time they're not, but when they do, they'll go down, and then when you do that, it pushes it in to break the bead. So now you're going to just gently, slowly roll the tire around. Sometimes, depending on the condition of the tire and how long it's been there, the bead may take longer to cut loose. But notice on my second rotation, the bead separated from the rim. Okay, so now that my bead is separated from the rim, I'll go ahead and move the upper roller up out of the way. Oh wait, before I do that, sorry, let me go ahead and I'll hold this down a little bit, just about right there. You can see that gap, small gap I have, and you want to go ahead and lube the rim, because this will make removal a lot easier. So do a lot of lubricant with this as you lubricate the rim. Now this tire has TPMS, so again, I don't want to push all the way down when I'm removing this, because I could rip the TPMS off. So after I've lubricated it, I'll go ahead and move that roller up out of the way. So here's your TPMS sensor. Some of them have a nut. If you're worried about breaking them, you can remove this nut and the TPMS sensor will fall on the tire. The only thing is you'll have to change that rubber O-ring if you do that, because then it may leak at this O-ring. So you don't have to on these. You just got to be careful, because again, the tool can rip these off and you'll have to replace them. So we'll go ahead and now we'll break the bottom bead. So for the bottom bead, I'll turn my light on so I can see underneath. And I've got this mirror here, and I'm going to take my roller and move it, lower roller up. All right, now you saw that it went in. So now that it went in, I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing with the bottom. I'm going to just go ahead and rotate it around until the bottom bead is separated. Again, some tires come off fairly easy, some tires more difficult. So once I got the bead all the way off, I go all the way around. I'll go ahead and lower that roller again. So now I can come in with my tool head, and I'm going to take my tool head and use it to get the upper bead off. So when I do this, I need to position my TPMS sensor in the correct rotation, in the correct position, I'm sorry. So I'm going to go ahead and lift up on the pedal, and it'll rotate it counterclockwise, because I want to go right here to about the 1 o'clock position. So right there. There we go. So now I'll go ahead and take my tool head, and what's going to happen is the tool head is going to press down and get underneath the tire. Then I'm going to go ahead and pull it up, and now it's pulling that bead away from the TPMS sensor. So once I get that right there, I usually have these scrapers handy. Most tire changers come with them for scraping off the tape weights. I'll put this in there, and it'll keep it from just dropping back on. And I'll slowly just walk the tire off. I'm in no hurry, especially if I'm reusing a tire. I don't want to damage it. So because I lubed it up real good, it came off real easy. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and remove my tool head out of the way, and it will kind of lift the tire up for me. And then I'm going to go ahead and rotate my TPMS sensor and get it back to that 1 o'clock position and start the other side. So now I'm at the 1 o'clock position. Now I'm going to use my lower roller. It's going to come up and it's going to push the bead off, but I want to hold this side of the tire up and make sure it stays in the drop center. So the lower roller, come bring it up, and you can see that it has lifted the tire up off on that side. So at that point now, I'll go ahead and slowly rotate the tire and see how it's going back on there. So I'm going to go back and just put my foot back underneath, and I'll get my tool again, put it in there, kind of hold it there, just kind of with a little bit of pressure to keep it from rolling back on. And go slow, again, because sometimes the tire won't be coming off, but I lubricated it real well so it comes off real easy. If you don't lubricate it, it won't come off that easy. It'll fight you. So once you do that, don't change your diameter, because you're going to be putting a new tire on. Just lower the lower roller all the way down, and take the tool head out of your way so you can get the tire off. Okay, so now you would take the tire off, and you got the tire off. So the next step you want to do is you want to go ahead and get your new tire ready. So if you were changing a valve core at this time, then of course you would use a valve core removal tool, which looks something like this. Now this has got a TPMS sensor on it, so you don't want to destroy the TPMS sensor. Some TPMS sensors, you can get the core, the valve itself, the rubber valve core. You would just need a Torx to take that off, remove the TPMS sensor, pull that out, put a new one. Again, the reason why we change these is because they do leak when cars get older, and you don't want to put a new tire on, have this leak, and your new tire get ruined because it ran flat because of a leaking valve core. So at that time, when you put new tires on a car, it's recommended that you put new valve cores, not new TPMS sensors, but new valve cores. You can buy those. So once you use this tool to get the old valve core out, you'd put the new one in, put your TPMS sensor back on. Of course, if you have this type of TPMS sensor, you don't have to change it. You just want to change that O-ring though, because they'll start to leak over age as well. So all this does is simply screw on the valve core, and then you pull up when you install your new one, or you pry down. Of course, again, if it's a nice wheel, you don't want to put this on the rim and damage it. So you put some, like a rag or something, to protect it. Once you got your new valve core in, we'll go ahead and get the new tire. So I'm just using the same tire, but you want to make sure the tire direction is on correctly. Of course, if the customer wanted white walls out,